Hi everyone, it's Mr. Freddie here today with today's Wellness Wednesday, and today we're going to be discussing ways that you, as an artist, can contribute to what I like to call a healthy rehearsal room. There are many ways that you can contribute positively to this environment. First of all, be yourself. Just because we're playing characters on stage doesn't mean that we have to be those characters or be a character in general 100% of the time. In other words, don't be fake. Be yourself. Theater is a community that thrives on people being themselves and being authentic. And that's all I ever ask, and that's all anyone is ever going to ask of you in theater. Be yourself. Show up. There is a old phrase that, even though it's really old, it is so important and so true. To be early is on time, to be on time is late, and to be late means you're fired. Basically what that means is just because rehearsal starts at a certain time does not mean that is the time that you come strolling in the door. Give yourself time. Show up 10-15 minutes early. Get in the space and mind space to do what you're going to be doing that night at rehearsal. Don't show up right on time because rehearsal starts at that time. That is not the time you show up. You show up early so that way you can prep and be ready to go when the director or the stage manager says, all right, let's get started. Listen. During rehearsal, there's going to be a lot of things thrown at you, whether it's from a director or a stage manager or other actors. Listen, be aware of your surroundings. It's always a great idea to be paying attention and writing down notes and asking questions. But you can only ask questions and write down notes if you're listening in the first place. Show respect, not only to your fellow cast members, but your production team, your director, your stage manager, the other designers, any assistant stage managers that may be in the room, and also show respect to yourself. No one likes a jerk. Don't be a jerk. Ways that you can show respect to other people in the rehearsal room can be not blasting loud music, making TikToks in the corner, taking up an absurd amount of space, not bringing in food and drinks that smell or can easily be spilled into the rehearsal room, because if it spills, then that just causes a disruption away from the art that you're trying to make. This next one is what is said in the room stays in the room. Now, as theater people, we are incredibly emotional and vulnerable people because we're used to putting it all out there for an audience to see and be moved by. And when you're working on shows, sometimes in the rehearsal room, you get into deep conversations. Yes, you could be discussing the meaning of life. I've been there, and you will be there too. These conversations are deep and personal to the artist. Show respect, like I just said, to your fellow cast members and the other people on the production team by creating an environment where people can feel like they can share things without fear of people outside of the rehearsal room finding out about them. It just goes back to showing respect and not being a jerk. What is said in the room stays in the room. Ask for permission. Now, there are several ways that this rule can be interpreted. One of the most important ones is if you're ever in a scene where you have to have contact with another person, whether it's holding their hand, pushing them, or yes, even a stage kiss, it is always important to ask for permission from your scene partner before you touch them. And I know it sounds silly, but no one has the right to touch you without your permission. That goes for a director, a scene partner, a designer. No one has the right to make you feel uncomfortable. And likewise, if you are in a situation where you are the one that has to have body contact with another person, ask for permission. Is it okay if I touch you? And if it is, where can I? Where is comfortable for you? I know this sounds silly, but trust me, in theater, there are situations where you will feel uncomfortable in certain scenarios, acting out things. And it's important to know that you have autonomy over your body. And by autonomy, I mean you have the right to say no. Make choices. Rehearsal is the time to try new things. Try different things with the scene that you're acting in. Don't wait until opening night when you have an audience to try screaming in that one scene. No, that will do many things. That will throw off your scene partner, that will throw off your stage manager, and it will make your director very, very mad. Rehearsal is the time where you need to try all of these things. And trust me, if the director doesn't like it, or if your scene partners don't like it, or if it just isn't working, it's okay. It's low stakes, because rehearsal is for those moments, to try new things and to see what happens. Take the note. If your director gives you a note during note session or during rehearsal or any other moment during rehearsal, take the note. Don't try to argue with him and say, well, you just don't understand my method or what I'm trying to do here. No, the director just wants you to try something different, and the director is in charge of the creative vision of the show. It's your job to be an actor and to help create the world in which the director wants to create. Now, I'm not saying that you can't continue to try new things or have a conversation with the director, but the director is not just saying these things to mess with you. The director is trying to help you give the best performance that you possibly can. So with notes, there is a great saying that a great director once said to me and to a cast of a show that I was in. When a director gives you a note, the mentality should be, thank you, may I have another? And that really applies because you want to give the best performance that you possibly can. And all of the notes that the director gives you are only going to help you make the show the best that it can be. Stay positive. No one likes negative people, especially in the theater. We are in an industry that thrives on positivity and creativity. Be a happy person. It doesn't take much to smile and to just be a genuinely happy person. I know there are always things going on outside of the rehearsal room that are out of your control, but don't bring that negative energy into the room, because if you're having a bad day and you just can't shake it, it's going to put everyone else in a bad mood. And people in bad moods don't tend to make great art, or maybe they do. But for the purposes of this exercise, be a happy person. And my final tip for you, do the work, not just in rehearsal, but also outside of rehearsal. If a director asks you to learn your lines, if a music director asks you to look over your music, or the choreographer asks you to practice that combo over and over again until you get it, do it. Do the work. That's all anyone can ever ask of you. Actually, if you ignore all of these other rules, at least show up to rehearsal having done the work and be ready to do the work in rehearsal. It is so important. We are in an industry that is so competitive. I know you guys know this. And people gravitate towards people who are motivated and determined to do the best that they can do. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. No one is asking you to be perfect. But that doesn't mean you can't try your best and stand out. Because, and I'm speaking as a director, I like working with people that aren't afraid to take risks, are happy and positive people, and are themselves. I don't like fake people. I try my best not to be a fake person. I love and thrive off of positive work environments. And that's the kind of atmosphere that I always like to have and try to promote, especially here at Keystone Youth Theatrics. We are all learning and growing together. And so I can't wait until we're all back together again in the rehearsal room, so that way we can implement all of these healthy practices into creating a safe, inclusive, and fun rehearsal room. Thanks for tuning in for today's Wellness Wednesday. I'm Mr. Freddie, and we will see you tomorrow for Thrifty Thursday.